Cultural humility asks that we would meet each person where he or she is, and we would do this by not judging and not imposing our own values or beliefs about right and wrong. Cultural humility is the ability to relate to others and to that aspect of their cultural identity that is most important to them. And for you, as a neighboring volunteer, cultural humility asks that you would establish a relationship with your neighboring family that is based on trust, equity, and respect.
When I think about cultural humility, I think about that word humble that is inside of that word humility. And it's just so extremely important that we not only intend to be humble, but that we talk and act in ways that others perceive us to be humble. It's often not so much what we say, but how others hear what we say.
Cultural humility does ask that neighboring volunteers would be very aware that whether it is your first family or whether it is your 51st family, that they're all very unique and that their history and their heritage and their cultural identity is all very different one from another.
For a neighboring volunteer and for the neighboring family, I think the first piece that's just really important is to think about what might be some of those perceived power imbalances that could exist in the relationship. Things like differences in socioeconomic status, maybe differences in education levels, differences in age, perhaps differences even in race or ethnicity, right? And all the baggage that comes with that due to our nation's history or even things happening today. And so what can you do to begin to reduce those perceived power imbalances? Well, for a neighboring volunteer, right from the beginning, something that can be done that goes a long way is to communicate very compellingly to a neighboring family that you are the expert in your own life, and that you know better than anybody else what you need and what your family needs. And I'm here as a neighboring volunteer. I'm here to support, to walk alongside you, even to share my own story and to be vulnerable at times, right? Because that creates something that we often call mutuality in a relationship, where I'm willing to share where perhaps things happened in my life that didn't go the way I had hoped or planned. And maybe I took a left turn and things didn't work out. And this is how I kind of maneuvered through it. Because when we're all around a table and we're willing to share, that means that nobody around the table perceives anybody else as being like an empty vessel where I'm going to pour knowledge or values or ways of doing things into you. But everybody is a learner around the table. Everybody has something to contribute. Everybody has goals they're working on. Everybody has dreams. That's what creates mutuality in relationships and equity. And that's what you're really shooting for in this relationship, this very special relationship.
Cultural humility takes us beyond ourselves to a deeper missional appreciation and understanding of life from the perspective of the other person. Cultural humility intentionally draws us nearer to people who are different from us, and together with them, nearer to Christ. All of us need to be about the business of lifelong learning. We're talking about cultural humility now, lifelong learning. And we also need to be willing on a regular basis to assess how are we relating, how are we perceiving other people.